if you were to take an organic bud and a synthetic bud, grind it up, put it in a bowl, smoke it, would you know the difference?
Hell no. There's so many people who tell me that like, I can taste the salt. I'm like, no, you can't. You're a liar.
You're not coming over to my family barbecue, you lying motherfucker.
Yeah, like, I think, again, it's preference, of course, but there's some different looks. You'll see, of course, people who are using things like PGRs. Definitely don't do any plant growth regulators. Is horrible. Don't do it. Certain things that will modify the way your bud structure is. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot of difference. I've never seen a big difference. I have seen maybe more enunciated trichomes on synthetics. I have seen bigger, tighter bud structure. But when it comes down to smoke, no difference for me.
The first time I ever did organics, I got a lower yield. Okay, smaller plant, lower yield. And if you come across that, one of the main reasons why it could be is because you just don't have that microbial population in the soil yet. Right. So maybe I didn't have enough microbes in the soil to break down to give the amount of nutrients that the plant needed. So, continuing to feed that soil, inoculate, so on and so forth. The first time around, your yield might not be as big as synthetic, but if you're continuing to feed that particular soil and you're continuing to do grows in that same soil, it should, be about the same yield, if not surpass the yield of synthetics.
Do not give up. I can't count how many times I've failed with synthetic. We're going to talk about simplicity. I have failed and failed and failed and failed and failed and failed and failed. And it's like, don't give up. It sounds like you might have struggled with your first harvest. And what? You did not give up. You did not give up. You learned, you adapted, you overcome, and you moved on. Do not give up.
And even if you start organic, right, you start with that craft blend and you amend and then you top dress. If you start to see deficiencies, you can always switch to bottled nutrients, right? You can always, during that grow, you can give like a quarter dose of nutrients, for example, just to kind of give that plant available nutrients so it can recover from the deficiencies, right? It's not going to, there's still a lot of debate on if salt-based fertilizers kill microbes or not. So we're not going to get into that, but you can absolutely mix both organics and synthetics. So
that's a great point.
I've had an organic grow starting. All of a sudden I come across deficiencies week 2, 3 of flower. So I'm like, you know what? Hit it with a dose of synthetic nutrients. Boom, that plant recovered. Still did kind of the mid flower top dress with the organics and was able to survive without drastically reducing my yield or anything like that. So weaning your way off the bottles is another way to go about it.
From the Stash Podcast.